It's the year 2019, and a virus by the name of COVID-19 has appeared from nowhere, and it is affecting everyone, hurting the economy of the entire world, and ravaging the operations of a centuries-old criminal network that is already fighting for its survival. The Yakuza, the Japanese men in black suits that go around chopping off people's fingers with swords. Okay, maybe that doesn't really happen, except in the movies. The Yakuza, however, are real, and they are in trouble, primarily because the Japanese government simply doesn't want them around anymore, passing anti-Yakuza laws one after another. Yakuza members are banned from opening a bank account. They can't buy a car, they can't rent a home, they can't buy a phone, and they can't even relax on Sunday with a nice game of golf.
Since we're not allowed to have a bank account, we can't make bank transfers to pay for our children's school canteen, and so the school immediately recognizes that we're Yakuza. This isolates our children and our grandchildren.
At this point, you'd be thinking, if the Japanese government already knows who the Yakuza members are, instead of banning them from golf courses, why don't they just prosecute and put them in jail? Incredibly, it's because being part of a criminal organization is not considered a crime in Japan. Yakuza operates like every other big business organization there. Members proudly wear Yakuza lapel badges and pass out business cards, complete with phone and fax numbers identifying their gang affiliation. Gang leaders hold press conferences. Yakuza have offices all over Japan. When they appoint a new boss, they film it for everyone to see. As a matter of fact, the clip you are watching on your screen is not just two men passing a basket with a couple of swords and some weird stuff in it. It's the transition of power from one boss to another. Now that you have a more basic understanding, we'll get back to the main story. Already stumbling from their government's war on them, the Yakuza are now going out of business because of COVID. Large numbers of the population, including Yakuza members, have opted to stay indoors. This means they can't collect their usual protection money from the clubs, bars, and dens of ill repute. Illegal brothels have always been a benchmark of underground activity. The gangs are still running them, but no customers are coming. Yakuza are attempting to enter into loan sharking, a process in which money is lent with a high rate of interest, but most business owners are taking advantage of a government borrowing program instead. They've attempted other ventures, like selling volumes of masks at high prices to small retail businesses, but it hasn't been very profitable. As much could be said for a series of online frauds. While it can be argued that drug prices have doubled and that the aforementioned business looks promising, like in the classic La Cosa Nostra, drugs are considered bad business among the Yakuza. Dealing drugs has been banned by some of the bosses, so the members that risk it do so in secret, always fearing the retribution of their government and their own boss. Perhaps the biggest problem this mighty organization is facing is recruitment. Since the 1990s, they've seen their numbers decrease from almost 100,000 active members to a mere 25,900 today. It has been speculated that of those remaining, 50% of them are aged 50 or over, and 10% are beyond 70 years of age. In short, times are not good for the Yakuza, and it's times like these that make you long for the good old days, and the men that created those days. Men like Yoshinori Watanabe. Watanabe was the fifth Komna, or boss of the Yamaguchi-gumi, Japan's largest Yakuza family. Yoshinori Watanabe was born in 1941 in the Tochigi Prefecture north of Tokyo. He has a large farming family and reportedly enjoys a pretty good life. Upon finishing middle school, he moves to Tokyo and finds work in a restaurant making noodles. Apparently, the noodle life isn't for him, and he feels destined for bigger things. And after 2 years, he has had enough, leaving Tokyo and moving to Kobe. There, he joins the Yamaguchi-gumi, a gang that is part of the Yamaguchi-gumi clan. When Watanabe joins the Yamaguchi-gumi, somewhere around 1960, they were embroiled in a series of deadly turf wars. It is in these wars that Watanabe shows his skills as a leader. He proves to be tough and smart, and aside from being a hard worker, lethally efficient in resolving disputes. The bosses recognize his talent, and after the wars, Watanabe quickly rises through the ranks. By the early 1980s, the Yamaguchi-gumi clan is in chaos. They lose their third boss in 1981 to a heart attack, his successor to liver failure, and his eventual successor to assassins. In 1988, it is Watanabe's turn to take the throne. He becomes the fifth boss in the history of the Yamaguchi-gumi clan. At this point, the Yamaguchi-gumi are the biggest Yakuza clan in Japan, but during this time they are split into two rival factions and lose power during the war that follows, a war that leaves 26 members dead. To many people, the Yamaguchi-gumi is done for and will probably be taken over by another Yakuza clan. Initially, that assessment seems correct. Watanabe doesn't do much in his first months as the top boss, but as the 1990s begin, law enforcement begins to see dramatic changes in the Yamaguchi-gumi clan. Watanabe starts bringing the Yamaguchi-gumi back to the top of the Japanese organized crime scene. He abandons the centralized power structure and splits it into 7 semi-autonomous regional groups, similar to what Lucky Luciano did to America's La Cosa Nostra in 1931. This decentralized power structure works. It makes it harder for police to keep tabs on them, and they find it easier to control internal and external friction. He forges new alliances and cements existing ones with rival clans nationwide, and he rekindles an earlier leader's dream of making the gang a nationwide power. When Watanabe sweeps to power, the clan has offices in 39 of Japan's 49 prefectures. He increases that number to 43. At the same time, Watanabe adds 5,000 full-time men to the clan. By 1999, according to police statistics, the Yamaguchi-gumi has 65,000 members, more than 5 times the size of the entire American mafia at its peak in the 1950s. Thanks to Watanabe, the membership is up a third since his takeover in 1988. In 1989, after a 4-year gang war between the Yamaguchi-gumi and the Ichiwa-kai, which had split off from the main group, Watanabe is credited with introducing a pension plan that promises to take care of retired employees, much like the major Japanese corporations. It is a move to encourage Ichiwa-kai members to return to the fold. Can you imagine American La Cosa Nostra or any other criminal organization doing the same? Most would chase you out when you're too old to earn, giving no thought to your welfare. Most, but not all, as there were in fact mafia bosses who elected to take similar action. And we have a video coming out on one of them very soon. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss it once it's out. Watanabe is a highly intelligent gangster, but because of his slightly simian facial features, he becomes affectionately known among some police officers, as well as some Yakuza, as Mr. Gorilla. Watanabe is a charismatic leader and a good businessman. By keeping the association dues low, and through aggressive gang wars and leveraged peace treaties with rival gangs, he expands the organization to become Japan's largest organized crime group by 2004. According to police files, the Yamaguchi-gumi headquarters is collecting nearly $25 million per year, $37 million in today's money, just in association dues alone. Watanabe works on expanding traditional Yakuza businesses like gambling, sex trade, and drugs. He heavily invests in the stock market and expands the empire to legitimate businesses like hospitals and chemical companies. In the book, The Business Management Methods of the Yamaguchi-gumi, 2005, by Yakuza expert Atsushi Mitsuguchi, Watanabe himself succinctly explains the secret of his organized crime management. Quote, absolute unity, retaliation, silence, appropriate rewards and punishments, and judicious use of violence. However, during his reign, problems do emerge. After decades of open and predominantly peaceful coexistence, Japan's National Police Agency finally declares war on Yakuza in 1992. Anti-Yakuza legislation goes on the books, and legal precedents are set that gradually force the Yakuza underground. Where other Yakuza clans are decimated by police crackdowns that jail their leadership, and the recession that makes members decide it's time for a new job, the Yamaguchi-gumi grab what is left and manage to muscle in on the new economy. In a civil lawsuit over the shooting death of a policeman embroiled in a gang conflict that involved the Yamaguchi-gumi, Watanabe is effectively ordered by Japan's Supreme Court to pay damages of around 80 million yen in 2004, almost $700,000. This is the first time the courts recognize a Yakuza boss's, quote, employer liability. Watanabe will likely be most remembered for the Yamaguchi-gumi's relief activities following the Great Hanshin earthquake of 1995. The gang hands out food, water, and diapers to people in its devastated neighborhoods. They distribute 20,000 meals to survivors. Toshio Masaki, who describes himself as the secretary to the crime family's Oyabun, or top boss Watanabe, says in a telephone interview that the group is handing out 8,000 meals a day from a parking lot next to its headquarters. The food includes bread, powdered milk, mineral water, and fresh eggs. He further says that the group is using their motor scooters, boats, and even a helicopter to move precious goods into and around the city, which has been nearly paralyzed by the quake damage and dangerously clogged roadways. Even in the post-quake redevelopment, the gang prospers tremendously, primarily due to its dealings in construction and real estate. Watanabe lives in a palatial home in one of Kobe's old money neighborhoods. According to the people who know him, he is a simple man who avoids rich food. He is an avid student of Chinese history and Japanese law. He enjoys karaoke, and his repertoire includes a Japanese ballad set to the music from The Godfather. He has a single-digit golf handicap. He likes to ski in winter and jet ski in the summer. He likes to lift weights. He loves jogging and hiking, and he can be spotted enjoying these activities in Kobe Hills. Those who know Watanabe best say that he sees himself first and foremost as an unorthodox public servant. To his mind, there will always be the unfortunate, people incapable of holding down regular jobs. Since the Yakuza provides work for such people and helps keep their aggression and frustrations in check, or at least directed mainly at one another, he thinks of it as a pragmatic solution to an intractable problem. He admits it may not be ideal, but he believes the Yakuza is far better than the alternative, disorganized crime characterized by random attacks, such as those that plague other developed nations. He may have a point. Since Japan launched its Yakuza crackdown, serious crime has soared by 70%, while the arrest rate for such crimes has fallen to 70%, from 90%, and the police have been plagued by a snowballing series of cover-ups and scandals. The police admit that they too relied on the Yakuza to check random street violence and to control left-wing groups. Quote, "If a gang of young thugs turns up and starts causing trouble, the Yakuza go and sort them out because it's bad for business," says Akira Senda, a former mid-ranking Yamaguchi-gumi boss who once worked under Watanabe. But if the Yakuza are gone, who'll be there to make sure punks don't terrorize ordinary people? The police? I wouldn't count on it. In the summer of 2005, Watanabe resigned as leader and was succeeded by Kenichi Shinoda, also known as Shinobu Tsukasa. It was never clear whether he actually retired or was forced out. In a video succession ceremony held at Yamaguchi-gumi headquarters in August of 2005, Watanabe appears disgruntled and barely speaks. There was a failed attempt by Tadamasa Goto and other Yamaguchi-gumi members to restore Watanabe to power in 2008, but it was quashed quickly and the Yamaguchi-gumi bosses involved were exiled. Afterward, Watanabe was closely monitored by the Yamaguchi-gumi ruling faction, and in essence, the guerrilla boss died in captivity on December 1st, 2012. Welcome to the Watch to the End Club. How was today's video? Don't forget to let us know in the comments below. Your feedback is always appreciated, and it plays a very important part in improving the content. If you would like to support us so we can keep creating this content, join us on the Patreon for as low as $2 a month. Link in the description box below. For more videos like this, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you are the first one to get a notification when a new video is released. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up icon, and if you didn't, hit it twice. Stay dangerous out there, and see you next time.